This is good.
I don't know why you bring me on these things. You with me all the time. You know what this is gonna be.
I can't get enough apparently. Uh, but we might as well, kick off live and get into the other conversation later. If you guys want to take a second and go to my page and share this so that it pops up on your pages, then we can keep our green room discussion going.
Let's do it.
That's what y'all call it, Mel, when y'all do the cave thing. That's the green room, right? Okay.
Yes, dear.
I learned from the professional people.
I can dig it.
Y'all know. Okay. Okay. Well, welcome anybody that's chatting up with us this evening. I am Coach Mo, and I've got some pretty awesome gentlemen with me this evening. And we kind of kicked off organic conversation talking about the most recent hot topic. We are here to talk about meditation, though, but I feel like these two conversations might intertwine on how centered we need to be and how we need a little self-care in spite of activities. So I'd like to introduce my panel for the evening. I've got my fellow coach in life and business, Mel Roberson. I have known Eddie Precise for a dozen or more years at this point, probably around a dozen years.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. And we have done a variety of things together. Precise, you wrote the theme song to the radio show and lots of entertainment stuff we've done. He's taken lots of photos of me around town and all kinds of great stuff. And Spence, you are a fellow Dolphin, if I'm correct, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I did not know Spence in my Whitney Young times. I think we might not have intersected at the same time. But actually, Spence, I don't know. Do you know that you are why I started this 21-day meditation journey to begin with?
I had heard some roundabout information, but I got no confirmation thereabout. So that's good to hear that I got somebody as motivated as you motivated. So that just warms my heart.
Absolutely, you did. So I'll talk more about that in a minute. But we got on here and we got talking about Will and Jada and Chris Rock, because there was just about no way to not talk about that today. I don't know if any other news occurred, but if it did, it didn't get no tick. So fellas, share what you were talking about before I kind of stopped us, but share what you were talking about along the subject. Spence, did you want to kick in with what you started with, or Precise? What you
got? I'm just gonna go ahead. No, I just want to say shout out to Questlove on his Oscar win yesterday. That was
shout out.
Yeah.
I got a Questlove story to tell you Precise later.
Word. For sure.
That's dope. That's dope.
It's a good story.
It was a real good story.
Yes. And so the current news took away from a lot of good things. It was produced by brothers last night. Oscars for the first time.
Lifetime Achievement Award for Denzel.
Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson. That's right.
The House. Okay.
All the black folks look alike.
Shout out Morehouse College.
And also the audience was quite colorful. We had the Oscars So White hashtag a couple years ago, and the black people that did go boycotted and stopped going. So there were a lot of good and positive things that happened last night, but it definitely was overshadowed in the news. I don't think the Oscars have been this popular since Halle Berry and Monsters Ball, right?
I don't think so. No,
and Halle gave us quite a lot to talk about back then.
Right.
So anything else on this subject we want to cover? I know we were having some chatter before we got started.
Well, yeah, I was saying earlier on, when we were in the green room, that part of me initially was like, yeah, well, you should do something like that. And then when I start being more sensible, I was like, bro, why are you doing that? Like, what is really going on with you to make you get up out of your seat because you clearly know where you are and what you're doing and what you're there for, to go smack a brother on stage. Right? So there is not, I mean, there's a fine line between chivalry and toxic masculinity when it comes to that, right? Okay. And if there was ever a question what toxic masculinity looks like, I think that was probably one of the best examples of it. I know Spence mentioned something with regards to Will's book, Will, and how this was him expressing himself in a way because maybe there's something in him that feels like he has to protect the woman that he's with, or maybe it was him just making up for the fact that Chris Rock was disrespecting him, and he had to basically stand up and stand up for his woman, and that's how he felt he had to do it. And it was just weird, and it was hurtful to see. I was in shock, and then I'm like, there's something going on with that brother for him to make him feel like he should do that, because you know what, that is not, as much as we want to think it is, that is not a normal action.
Agreed. I don't think it would pass the reasonable person test. Not for a joke, not for that joke. And I don't think that it's, anybody's responsibility to, in the midst of jokes and settings like that, to consider, all the other list of things people want it to be about. Oh, he's made jokes about her before, or, oh, she's got a hair thing, or, I'm very sensitive to hair things, and I definitely get that. But, when you're not asking for a crutch on a subject and you are stepping out boldly, she had on a green dress with a bald head. I don't think a G.I. Jane joke was all that far off. That would make a reasonable person get up on an international stage that you have built your entire career around, and then do the most vile and violent act to a fellow comrade that you have known and been whatever level of friend with for at least 20 years. So I think that there is much more there. Mel and I were talking about it earlier, and I definitely think that Jada did not, I think that she incited the situation as well as did not help, because best believe if Mel was getting up to walk across a room like that at a time where he knows we on camera and it ain't time to walk across the room, I would have been, the embarrassing part would have been me holding on to his foot and my butt in the air, because I would have done everything I could to stop him from doing that. That is not, as a woman who loves to be protected, that is not protection to me.
I guess the question becomes, what does protection really look like, though, right? Okay. And did the punishment fit the crime? Since then, Will has apologized publicly. Will has apologized. He put out an apology statement to Chris and called him his friend. Okay. And so what does protection look like, right? And does the punishment fit the crime? Like, and from the videos that we're seeing, it appeared that when he first said the incident, said the G.I. Jane thing, Will was laughing. He was laughing. Then some time went by, and then I guess he saw Jada was either pissed or maybe she said something to him. I don't know. I wasn't there. So speculation at best. But then he got up, walked up, smacked him, walked back to his seat, and they had the exchange of words. And Chris, he rolled with the punches, literally. And took it. I think that
with his hands behind his back, can we address that he kept his hands behind his back the entire time? If there was something to point out for classy, I think that was top of the list.
Yep.
So there are a few questions that have been asked, and again, all of this is speculation at best, because nobody knows 100% of the story. But
right.
I just wonder if it was Billy Crystal or Jimmy Kimmel or The Rock that would have been up there that said any of those things, would the response have been the same? I wonder. I don't know Will. I've never met him, so I can't speak, but I wonder if it would have been the same. I wonder if the acceptance of it would have been the same too, especially with a Jimmy Kimmel or a Billy Crystal or something like that. A black man slapping a white man at the Oscars would have had a completely different undertone and all types of stuff to it. Could it have been done differently? Absolutely. You know, and I'm from 78th and Colfax, so I understand. You know what I understand people talking out the side of their necks and it being something, but could it have been done differently? Chris has gone on to say that he didn't even know that Jada had alopecia. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm in the industry. I didn't know. I had no idea that she had alopecia. She's, you know, and the haircut looks good on her. You know, and I understand it's out of necessity now, and I feel bad for her for all of those things. But I think there are a lot of underlying issues behind it where it wasn't just about the comment in Jada. Somebody said, and again, this is all speculation at best. Somebody who talked about how embarrassing his life has been and everything that he's been through for the past year and a half. The entanglement stuff, you know, and at what point, the question was posed, at what point does she protect him? At what point does she protect his reputation, his legacy, you know, and all of those things? Why would you do it on national TV? I mean, get him afterwards when there ain't no cameras around and you're less likely to get sued if you put hands on the man.
Really, you know, really.
If you really felt it needed to be escalated to that level.
Yeah, Spence, did you want to add in? I wanted to share one other thing on this topic, but go ahead.
I did. Okay, so let's take it away from Will, y'all. I'm on a date with my lady, and brothers, y'all been there. This admirer took his admiration way too far, and he's with the, you know, disrespect now. And so I turned around to deal with it, and 3 of his boys stood up. Now, I'm brave, but I'm not stupid, okay? So I wanted to, you know, whatever. I'm from 53rd and Princeton, Colfax. So, you know, I want that same South Side reaction, but I couldn't because, you know, it just wasn't in my favor and I wasn't going to win the day. And I felt so weak. You know what I mean? I felt so powerless in that moment. And I sat with that all the way home. Like, you know, some of my senseis, you know, some of the male figures says that, you know, sometimes there's just an ass whooping you got to take. And I asked myself, was that just a time that I just should have just gone head up with those dudes and took that ass whooping as opposed to walking away? Now, of course, I got older and I got seasoned and, you know, I just understand things, but I'm not comparing myself. Now, you guys said, you know, no reasonable person. Nothing about Will Smith's career is reasonable. Nothing about the way he saw himself, nothing about the way he earns, nothing about, you know, even the stuff that made him popular as an MC. He became an MC on some parents just don't understand. These girls ain't nothing but trouble in the world of shoot 'em up, beat you down hip hop. So his whole success is unreasonable. He never attempted to become reasonable. So he was put in a situation where, which is what I love talking about on this topic, where, in my opinion, as far as the laugh, I get it because we're not computers. You know what I mean? Sometimes we need a moment for something to register. And he talked about how sometimes he would laugh as a defense mechanism. He would laugh as an attempt to try to smooth things over with people. And you kick that, you know, I've been there. I've kind of felt a certain type of way about something, looked at Bae, saw that she wasn't amused. And yes, you shift gears immediately. Oh, shit. Okay, wait. No, maybe I do need to deal with this something. I'm not condoning and I'm not nor condemning what he did. I'm just saying I've been there. I felt that powerlessness. You know what I mean? He's been taking a lot of shit, quite frankly, from people who ain't been in a relationship in the last decade. His marriage has been together longer than a lot of people who are clowning him have been even been dating. Right. Okay. And they've stuck together. They've been through it, through the mess, through the entanglement. They're right there. Some of these people out here single, can't keep a man, can't keep a partner, been killing the life out of their life. And you know, he had a moment. His was on television. We all have moments. And as far as Chris Rock goes, every profession has consequences if you cross a line. In medicine, if you cross a line, you can get sued. You can lose your license. Police, lawyers, you cross a line, you can end up in jail.
Jussie Smollett, if
you sitting there roasting a dude's wife and he from West Philly and he's in striking distance, yeah, a consequence may be runs up on you. Am I justifying this? No, I'm just going to sign what happened to Chris Rock is a professional hazard, and I think he needs to own the consequence of what happens when you take it there.
Well, and he owned it. He didn't file a police report.
Right.
You know, he put out an apology about something he didn't even know about. You know, but we talk about professional consequences or whatever, but you also have to look at what type of environment you put yourself in. You're at the Oscars, or you're at an award show, or you're at a show. It's like me going to a comedy show, you know, and the comedian cracks on me, but I'm mad that the comedian cracked on me, but I was at a comedy show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair, but I don't think they were at a comedy
freestyle
show.
battle. You know what I'm saying? And we added, and he said something about the gap in my teeth. I'm mad, but I entered into the freestyle battle though.
Yes. But Will Smith went there to hope that he could win his first Oscar, not to be in a freestyle battle, not to get joined by a comedian, and not to let his wife catch it.
Have you ever watched the Oscars before, bro? Joan is part of the Oscars. It's been part of the Oscars for years.
Saying I understand. All I'm saying is I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's this last piece. I was talking to a client earlier who's a educator, and she said that she had some time in her with her 8th graders today, and they ended up discussing it. And she had Team Will and Team Chris Rock as standing, so they could, because it was already a very sensitive versus, right? And so this is exactly what we've done all day in social media, right? The people that side on this side, and the people say is wrong. Well, in the end of the conversation, what they discussed was, hold on, don't fall out of your chair. That they felt it was wrong because there were white people there, but it would have been fine if it was on BET.
Oh, okay.
So that's a whole nother conversation, right?
Yes.
And so and then we talk about the conversation of a brother hitting a brother, and there's no consequence, right? It all exists, so it can go so many layers to this.
Yeah, and that was the takeaway for me, is that this topic brings up not every, but so many nuances of what our culture is based on and based around, that is only prevalent in our culture. Not that other folks don't fight, but it would have just been about a fight. It wouldn't have been about, do you protect the Black woman versus being protected of any woman?
Right.
You know, it's so many things to this. But I think it is a good topic that pushes us to why I wanted to have you gentlemen here tonight, which is men being known for taking their mental space and using it to grow in the same way that women do is not the norm of what we see. Yes. We are usually only interacting with a man when something blows up and now we need to help him deal with the crises. Absolutely. And I think that that's a huge part of why my passion around the subject of meditation has been so deep for so long, for meditation for all people. But you guys in this last journey really were the most vocal. When I did meditation classes and, and speaking up about your experience in the moment. And it just really touched me, because this is a part of the mission that I've been on a long time before I had a male to have these conversations with me. And I've wanted to get more men into it. When I do Lakefront, I have a few, but not as many as there are women. So, Spence, I would like to kick off with you, because I don't know what you were originally part of that made it to me through Latrice Davis or Elle Davis, that turned into 21 days leading up to her birthday, doing the 21-day abundance meditation journey. I meditate regularly, but not always daily. Okay. Once I did that daily challenge, I just about have meditated daily every day since. And it increased my clarity, my abundance, my flow in so many ways, that if it could be just that simple, that it made it from you to her to me, I was like, we need to do some more of this and guide people on this journey. So tell us how you got started in this space.
PTSD, y'all. I had an abusive parent. Verbally, physically, until I outgrew that, and then verbally. And I was not even aware of the trauma nor how I was dealing with it until I sent a cinder block through one of my tenants' window. They had been stiffing me on rent, been playing me. They sued me. I'm hemorrhaging money left and right, and in a rage, I now understand what snap meant, because there was nothing in my brain to talk me out of any of my plans. So I just grabbed the biggest, hardest thing I could find, and I broke the window out so they'd have to take showers in the cold. And so I went home and I told my partner what I did, and I'm explaining it to her like I'm telling y'all. And she was like, dude, you know you're not okay, right? You know that's not an okay way to handle that situation. And when I sat with it and I thought about it, I was like, yo, that was really out of control. And I didn't realize how pervasive my anger issues were, how much that was showing up in my relationships, not just with my partner, just in my friendships and my other family members. And I needed something nonviolent, because I take martial arts, and that gets rid of some of the physical. And as a trainer, I get some of the physical, but it doesn't always calm the voices in the head, the judgment, the guilt, the you shoulds. And as a student who's chasing down the MD, every morning I was waking up kicking my ass about something I wasn't doing. And I wasn't even starting my day on E, y'all. I'm starting my day on negative. So I got to rev it up just to get to 0. And just so I can start off in a low space. And someone asked me if I'd ever tried meditation before, and I said, sure. I thought I did from what I knew meditation to be at the time. I was like, oh heck yeah! Like no. Have you ever just locked yourself in the closet and not giving yourself permission to come out for an hour? Have you ever, just all these things? Just have you ever stood in the mirror and just make yourself keep staring, even if you start crying? Just all these ways it's kind of getting in touch with the sensor. And the more I did it, then I started doing it in the morning, which helped calm the voices, which helped give me some clarity, which helped me let me know it's okay. We only got 24 hours. You're going to get done what you get done today. And if not, if God wakes you up tomorrow, you're going to take another swing at it, and that's fine. And that just really helped me get with my anger issues, helped me with my depression. It helped me deal with a lot of stress that was going on. And it just really helped up my game as a person, as an individual, so I could be a better partner, father, and worker and business person. So it just really helped come through. And like for me, it just calmed the voices, and it calmed my inner Spence, just so I could think and I could see.
Wow, that's really good. I had this idea that I wanted to talk to you. I didn't realize your experience was so incredibly relevant beyond just picking up the practice. Precise, as someone, am I assuming, or are you newer to the realm of meditation?
So I'm not a rookie to it, right? You know how you mentioned that, I'm familiar with it, and there have been times where I have meditated and just taken a break. The last time before this most previous, the last 21 day I just did was in June of last year. So, I mean, I know what it is, and I know that it works. It's just sometimes it's just I don't do it. And, there were some, I don't know if people really understand what the idea of meditation is. So the best way that I can explain it for myself is allowing yourself to take a beat, right? Really just giving yourself an opportunity to refocus and just clear it up. Because all of us wake up with all these thoughts. We have so many things to do during the day, and so many things we're looking to accomplish consistently, and all this clutter doesn't allow us to create a space for this divine inspiration to enter. So now we're all cluttered up, and nothing is coming in. So the idea of being able to be creative and make great things, or find yourself walking in your purpose, it all becomes muddled, because a lot of us don't take the time just to be quiet. So
absolutely,
the meditation is key, and I appreciated the fact that Mo did this 21-day meditation, because I've dabbled with it. I've done an Oprah and Deepak meditation a few times, right? And then after that, I'm done with it. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, 21 days. And then I don't do it anymore because I don't know if I really understand the value of it. But I'm back after this 21-day meditation, and a few tips that I learned in that meditation, it allowed me to go forward and just and use those tips to do a daily 30-minute meditation. So that's why I'm since that day, I've been doing a 30-day meditation every day.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So we are just about a month later. We started on March 1st. So we are just about a month later. Thank you for sharing that, because it's really isn't about like consistently committing to it every day for the rest of your life, but it is about consistently committing to be consistent. And that is why the challenge portion of it is introduced, to commit for that 21 days to create that new habit and that new pattern. Mel, I know you've been meditating for a long time. What would you say has been your addition for doing it daily in this way?
So it's hard for me not to flirt with my lady, y'all, while I'm
we support that, bro. We support that.
We on this topic. But I'm gonna talk about a couple of things. So I compare meditation to chiropractic work. And what I mean by that is you can function and you can move around without having seen a chiropractor. However, when you get in proper alignment, your movement is better, your pain is less. So the meditation aspect of it puts me back in alignment, and it gives me an opportunity to get centered so that the things that I need to do outside of my meditation, I'm performing at a better level. Precise compared to the clutter of life, right? So right now my desk isn't the cleanest, right? But if I meditate over my desk, meaning I put it in proper alignment and things where they should be, compartmentalized to a certain degree or extent, then I have better functionality of the use of my desk. And life is the same way. You know, when it's in proper alignment, and this is from somebody who's just been in a car accident, who's been going to a chiropractor and doing physical therapy, I understand the difference. You know, as a martial artist, Spence, I studied under Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, United School of Survival, 10th degree black belt. You know what I'm saying? Who practiced under Dr. Moses Powell and Professor V, Grand Professor V, and Soke Lil John Davis, and all of these guys. So, right, even then, it's different when the whole, like, martial arts is fun, but when you're out of alignment, you know, when your shoulder is out of place, or whatever, it's just different. So that ability to get centered. Last thing I'll say, babe, is the daily practice of it. The reason that I appreciate it, I think sometimes when people think about meditation, they think that it has to be this mantra and this tantric moment that lasts for, you know, 3 hours, where your eyes are closed and your legs are folded and you start levitating eventually because you've reached this level of enlightenment and all of that other stuff. And they think, well, it's so far out from me, there's no way that I could ever get to that because I can't even control the voices in my head now. You know, there are 3-minute, 5-minute meditations where you're learning the practices and you're starting to calm the voices and get centered a little bit better or what have you. You know, 15-minute meditations, what we did on the meditation journey, those were 12 to 15 minutes daily, where even a person that's not used to it can get in the practice of it and doing it over a period of time. So, you know, are there moments where I'm able to be centered and grounded and meditate and do it for an hour and get ultimate clarity? Yes. Have I been doing it for years? Absolutely. Are the 15-minute ones just as powerful? Absolutely. Anything worth, Les Brown said, this is my last thing, anything worth doing is worth doing badly until you get it right.
Man, yes.
So,
absolutely.
You know, learn it, do it, practice it. It'll be tough at first, maybe, You know, if you tell yourself it's going to be tough, what you think about expands. So if you keep telling yourself that it's going to be tough, as opposed to let me try it and see what I can create, you know, and you do it over a period of time, man, you'll get it, and you'll get centered. You'll be in better alignment for life.
Absolutely. I think that those are the things that I really want people to hear, is to understand, everybody just gave an entirely different analogy that all hits home for why it's relevant, and part of how we can use time alone to connect with self to be best everywhere else. The goal is, you know, to pour enough into self to have some to give. Whereas when we are constantly pouring from E, and then you get to negative, or wake up at negative and got to fight up to get to E. I don't know if I've ever heard that before, Spence. So like that is a new place for me to ask a question. Like, are you on E or are you negative E?
Right.
Because some people really register that low. And meditation is absolutely free. All it takes is time. It can be scary sometimes to have to sit still with self, but when you do it, and even just attempt at it, to do it bad, do it ugly, do it afraid, the result is still good. And you can get a little bit better, I always tell my clients, it's called meditation practice for a reason. It is not meditation, get it perfect. And there is no such thing. When I teach my classes, I encourage people to take those classes, because we aren't just meditating. I'm teaching you how. I have a very specific formula of how I walk people through the ability to get quiet and calm versus just sit still and be thinking all the time, which is what we're always doing. So, gentlemen, if you had some, you know, words for others that you would share around how they could start off, take this risk, sign up at I'mWithCoachMo.com for the April journey.
Production value.
Hey, you know, to sign up to get, to get that in-depth journey and find a group of people to, you know, to do it with, to experience the camaraderie of accomplishment together. What would you guys say on why somebody should do that?
Well, I wanted to underpin something Precise hit on as far as the consistency. And just, you know, they say even when you know better, sometimes you don't do better. So with the 21-day abundance challenge, I had the most incredible abundance miracle fall in my lap probably around day 11, because I'm buzzing just all day. I'm just looking at abundance. I'm celebrating. I'm saluting everybody's abundance. Everybody just abundance all the time. Go, and something that never happened to me as a Black man, definitely not a Black man with non-traditional straightforward hair. I go to the auto dealership. I'm looking at my dream machine. I forgot what happened, but I wound up getting pinballed to the owner's son, who took a particular affinity to my daughter, and he was chatting us up. And so we're, you know, he was like, "So can I get you to buy today?" I'm like, no, not gonna buy today. He was like, "Well, why don't you just take it, you know, just take it for 2 weeks, you know, and if you don't like it, just bring it back." And you know how you hear something, but you say what just so you can hear them say it again. I said, "What did you just say?" And he was like, "Yeah, just take it." He's like, "I mean, this is gonna be sitting here anyway, so just take it, drive it around, drop your daughter off to school, you know, just be in it for a week or two, and then, you know, if you don't like it, bring it on back." So on day 11 or day 12 of the abundance challenge, where I'm putting out nothing but attracting abundance, I'm sitting driving my dream machine for free for 2 weeks. And what I'm saying is, I know it works. I know what happens. And even with little things like that, I still fell off. I still kind of didn't stick with it. I still didn't, you know, get with, but with stuff like that, now that's just the second thing I'll use, and I'll close, is it gets to a point where you can use your meditation as your anchor. When you start to tilt away from your peaceful spot, you're immediately alerted. Like, whoa, I'm not supposed to be feeling like this. Or if you're about to have that conversation with that family member, or that ex that you have to deal with, or that colleague or whatever. You can give
or that email you got to open,
or that email or whatever it is. You know, Mel was talking about 15 minutes. Sometimes it can be 45 seconds. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can just close your eyes and take that deep breath and say, you know what I'm not about to do is run up on stage and slap nobody. So, right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know what I'm saying? and
you knocked you off the chair.
That was my biggest takeaway from Will's behavior last night. I think there's a difference between the reaction and the response. He reacted. Yeah. Meditation helps you respond. Yeah. It puts that moment there. It puts that breath there. You know, my mouth can be toxic when you piss me off. So in that situation, I don't think I would have slapped Chris Rock. I would have gone off stage. I would have grabbed the mic and I'd have looked and I'm like, oh yeah, I would say something about your wife, but she left your ass. So never mind. And then, so I would have made Chris Rock swing on me. You know what I'm saying? I would have taken it there. Maybe that's not healthy either, but I'm saying I would have taken a moment and figured out, to your point, how can I respond proportionately? Or you want to talk about whys? I will laugh at this. So that's what consistency and using meditation as an anchor to how you're supposed to feel and how you're supposed to be. And when you're not there, you can use it to get back quickly.
Mm-hmm. You know, what I appreciated about this 21-day meditation is that it pointed me into the direction of the 7 spiritual laws of success.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I've been tuned into that book. So I have a thing, right? So I say audiobooks are not books, right? Mm-hmm. Audiobooks are not books, but because you're listening to them, you're not reading them. And so it's, it's a thing. However, I've been listening to it as an audiobook, like a mixtape, because it's only like an hour and a half long, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's a short read.
It's a short read. It's in constant rotation, and it's really seriously having me take more account for what I'm putting into the world, right? With respect to my judgment, actually doing an experiment of walking around without judgment for a day, just making me realize how much judgment I do on a daily basis, right? And then really liberating myself, right? So I think what the meditation does, it allows you to expand. So because what we want, because there's always going to be life, but what we want those openings. So the brain dump, is that what you call it, Mo? Mm-hmm. So what I love about the brain dump was that it showed me that the meditation is such a regimented process. So like if I actually open my eyes in the middle of my meditation because I was thinking about something to write it down, guess what? I can take a deep breath, close my eyes and go right back in. And then at that point, I've created that space, right? So to Spence's point, has been following me all around, right? Consistently. And I think it always has. However, because I was fortunate enough to become aligned, because even getting into this 21-day meditation with you is a form of alignment, right? Because it's bringing me to where I needed to be in order to get centered. So there are a few things that are going on right now in this moment where I understand that there's power in me stepping back, being silent, and doing a 5-minute, 15-minute meditation. And, Mel was joking earlier about, maybe getting to the point where, we can levitate and all that. And I think we can get there.
I agree.
I think we can get there. And also, I think that the value is in just actually taking that step and doing it. So I'm inviting everybody out to come out for April, right? Because I think the more of us that are involved, the more of this energy of alignment that permeates the world and gives us the ability to transform this vibe that's out here right now, right? Because we're more powerful together than we are as individuals.
Absolutely. I love the how the messages are so different between us, but our experiences bring us that same realization that the abundance is there. But if we're not looking for it and we're not attempting to track it, then we miss it. We call it Tuesday. But if we're looking for what happened that's great on Tuesday, we can tell you, I had a great Tuesday last week. This and this and this happened. And I like to believe that my manifestations are sometimes micro manifestations. That it's just, for me, the ways and how I needed my day to go. Whereas to somebody else that isn't looking for the next opening of alignment or abundance, you miss it. So I'm constantly smiling at people. Like today I went in a store and I realized I didn't have my mask on because I was smiling at people and they either couldn't or weren't smiling back at me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just live this moment and I'm going to smile at people because everybody is moving around like a zombie. We're not making even as much eye contact as we used to. And we are so disconnected and separated. But precise what you mentioned is exactly why I'm doing this, to create collective consciousness, to make sure that I'm not the only person, Mel ain't the only person in our circles talking about this kind of powerful, free time tool. It is, you know, and the reason that, I mean, yes, this is a part of my business and teaching this is a part of how I make a living, but I decided to do these 2 months of this journey absolutely free so that there is no excuse and no barrier. I'm teaching extra lessons in the class. Mel drops in and teaches lessons in the class so that you're getting more than, you know, just the link to meditation, but the hows and the accountability. Because accountability for me is having to put the message there every night, and us there every night. He keeps me accountable for putting the message there every night, and then doing it right. I'm not just, you know, dropping the link and then we get up and go do something else. We wake up, start the day, do the meditation, whether we're in the same place, in the same city or not. And that's the commitment to the process that I love. Mel, what would you like to add?
Let me throw a couple of things in there because I don't know who's watching this or who's going to watch the replay later. I think for a long time too, there are there's been this ideology that meditation is a feminine quality.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
That it's women that meditate, or men, you know, we got to be tough, so we can't, you know, meditation ain't a tough thing, right? so I think this is improper. You know what I mean? That's like saying, well, brushing your teeth is not tough. Right. No, brushing your teeth is necessary. At least the ones you want to keep. You should probably brush them. And so this ideology that meditation is for women or men shouldn't meditate, or it's not manly to meditate, is such a misconception, man. And there are so many things in society that have been deemed as male or female, man or woman, that is just universal. It's spiritual. It's part of the experience. So that's the first thing I would say. Men meditate too. And those that do,
that's a book. I like that.
The men meditate too. That's a book. Yeah. All right, let's write it. Let's write it, bro.
Yes,
let's write it. And those that do are doper. I mean, I'm kind of dope. You know what I mean? These brothers are kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're and that's not even from a cocky position. That's just knowing our worth in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's the first thing. The second thing that I'll say that I've witnessed on this meditation journey, and why I liked being a part of it, is reading the success stories and the community that's built around it. You've had people, Mo, in these journeys that didn't know each other before they got into this journey, but now they're in the Facebook room, they're chatting with each other, they're calling each other, holding each other accountable, they're sharing stories, they're encouraging each other. You know, there's nothing like when you're having a hell of a day to be able to read a message from somebody else that says, hey, keep going, or hey, I was having a rough day too, but once I got this meditation, this and this happened for me. And so you start to focus on what you want as opposed to what you don't want. Or you're thinking, well, if it could happen to them, it could happen to me. Or, you know, I get joy in seeing other people thrive. So there have been times that I was having a challenging day, and, you know, I look at Precise, the 2021 him doing the jumping jacks and his exercising in 2022. And I'm like, man, this brother done lost a small person. You know what I'm saying? So I get excited based off of his success. Not only watching him grow and through his physical transformation through exercise, but through the meditation process of it all, and hearing how other brothers and sisters are doing. I think is super important that not only we have the accountability factor, but we have the celebration factor for other people. And by joining this journey, you get both of those. And I think it's a super dope experience.
And celebrating every single moment, right?
Right.
Everything is worthy of a celebration. And it may not be about your condo that you've been trying to manifest. Maybe you just manifested an ice cream cone,
Man.
You know what I mean? Like revel in that joy, because what I've learned is that same joy that I'm feeling, I'm adding fuel. I'm adding fuel to the energy, right? Yeah. So that joy I have for that ice cream cone, I'm adding it. It's building. Let's just keep celebrating it.
Mm-hmm. And the little victories feel so good. Go ahead, Spence.
Mel, I think Mel, both of what you just hit was huge. Like when I find, my daughter thinks I'm crazy. If I find a coin on the ground, I go nuts. You know what I mean? You would have thought I found big bank. You know what I mean? And she was like, Papa, what are you doing? I'm like, man, grateful for a dime, grateful for 10 million. It's all the same gratitude.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I'm really pouring that into it. But Mel, one of the things with me with the 21 Day Abundance Challenge, and Mo, I want to wrap this around to a question with you. So I went through it as a participant first, as a part of a male mastermind group. And it was a sexual relationship and intimacy male mastermind group. So, and the brothers, they were coming from different aspects of life. Some were starting over, loss of life, loss of wife. We had one literal 40-year-old virgin who had just, time kept going and he just kept getting more self-conscious about his lack of experience. And, it just never happened. We had one guy kind of discovering a new side of his sexuality. So everybody was coming to us from different walks of life. And the very first thing we had to do as a group was a 21-day abundance meditation challenge. And I don't know how to really describe it, but y'all, all I can say is that as time went on, those of us who finished it could tell the ones who didn't.
Ooh.
Just by the way they talked, just by the way they framed their challenges. I can't get enough. I can't see, this isn't happening. Just the way they worded it is like almost immediate, like, oh, you didn't finish. Mm-hmm. Or you just went through the motions. You didn't, because you're not seeing abundance right now. You're still speaking in a self-perceived sense of life. And we all talked about it sometimes in our breakaway. It's like this. Oh, yeah. So then I went through it as a facilitator, and I was getting so much feedback from my people, y'all, that I was going back to make sure I posted the right day, because so many people had so many different takeaways that I was like, wow. And then I understood, because that was part of the assignment. We had to do it, and then we had to found our own group. And then Treese was a part of that, Mo, and that's how she got you.
Okay.
And so as a facilitator, I saw a whole new side of it. And then I go through back as a participant again. So Mo, my question for you was, what was the difference for you going through it as a participant and then going through it as a coach? Because for me, when you were talking about the accountability, I had one sunrise watcher. And so every day, 4:45 in the morning, if I didn't have my thing posted, she's hitting me. What's up with the challenge? Where you at? What's up? What we doing? And I was like, wow, okay, I really got to make these things, And so she kind of cornered me to being more consistent. So what was your experience going from a participant to now a coach, or to a participant again, Coach?
Oh, what a great question. Precise. Remember what you were going to say. I don't want to miss it either.
Oh, no, not at all. Mm-hmm.
I was most excited when I was invited to do it with Latrice, because it was my first time since coaching, which I've been doing for 8 years, to just 100% be a participant. There was nothing for me to do, nothing for me to teach, nothing for me to say. And all I had to do was click the link that somebody else was going to put there. I was in love with that part of the process, just because I could be Monique and I didn't have to be Coach Mo. So my participation was full on with all of the enthusiasm that I attacked things with. And I did it consistently, I did it excitedly, and I did it as a student. But probably the reason I am the coach is because when I like something and it's really good, I want to share it with other people. So before I knew it, I mean, this is probably I'm just doing it in this forum here, but I started leading it right away and putting together a new group in the same group me where we were, and anybody else want to keep going or start over. But I, like you, have also wondered, did you listen to the day I just listened to? Because what you just typed was not, did he say that? Did I hear? Let me go back and listen to that thing again, because I don't even know what part you heard that on.
Right.
But that's also probably the most liberating part of meditation, is that you can get out of your head enough to maybe I went somewhere else during those moments. Maybe I was focused on my breathing or anything else that could happen that would change my experience than yours, or what I'm going through in life or where I am in life would make an entire difference in each person's experience. So I have had a variety, but I will tell you that it never gets old, like Mel said, to go and see somebody else's success story. There was one young lady that around day 7, day 8 felt like she had just failed and there was no way she could catch up. I inboxed her and I said, well, just double up. Do one in the morning and one at night. You can, just stick with us, keep going, and then do it again in April the right way, one time a day, all the way through. And she finished 21 when we did. That was one of the proudest moments of the group, because it showed me her dedication to being able to push through. So shout out to Brandis Hampton, because she came through and she did that. And she just had a birthday and she was glowing and looking amazing. And those kinds of things, they also do show up on the outside. The happiness and the glow of the inner work is often what people see before they see whatever clothes you got on, or your fade, or your even size or weight or any of those things. It's the inside that comes out that is truly what is connecting with others. And when we use that ability to connect, I don't think that anybody would want to hit anybody or fight anybody or be on bad terms with anybody, because you realize the truth is that anything I want for another is what I'm wanting for myself, good or bad. And so I don't want any bad for you, because I damn sure don't want any bad for me.
Right.
And that's that, level of depth of spiritual connection, which has been amazing to watch and participate in. Precise, what were you going to say a minute ago?
So one thing I wanted to say, that young lady being able to complete the 21-day meditation is a testament to a space that you curated, right? And the energy that exists in that space. So she's there for that reason, and she was able to complete it. So kudos to that young lady, definitely. And also, I wanted to touch on something Spence was saying, and you mentioned how, someone would come back to you and you knew that they weren't doing a meditation based on their conversation, right? And that made me think about the affirmations and how much of how important it is to include those in the meditation, because it allows us to stay on task, and that paired with our breathing keeps us focused and actually being able to feed ourselves, because that's that food, right? So the affirmation is the food. So being able to have those type of words or that we're saying to ourselves consistently is what is even adding more fuel to what we're doing in that moment. So I appreciate the affirmations that go along with the meditation.
It's such a well-rounded journey. Mel, you got last questions, last words. What would you like to add and offer?
I think I said what was on my mind the heaviest, as far as the men joining the journey and the accountability and community that's around it, which is something that we all touched upon. If this is new to you, then take the leap. If this is old to you, then leap again. You know what I mean? If you got somebody to do it with, invite them. If you're single, then do it by yourself and invite a friend. If you ain't got no friends and you ain't got no man or no woman, and do it by yourself and manifest some new friends and a man or a woman or whatever you're into. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like we are in a space of creation.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to literally create what you want. I talk about this in some of my seminars. There's a difference between fate and destiny. Fate is inevitable. You know, when you are born, your fate is that one day the equipment you are born with will stop working and this physical shell will be no more. That's your fate. There's nothing you can do about that, right? Destiny, which has the same root word of as destination, you can control where you're going and your destination, right? And even if you set out to hit a particular place, if you put it in the GPS, sometimes you're going and you're following the path, but then you veer off. And what happens? Rerouting, but you're still in the driver's seat. So what this manifestation journey, this meditation manifestation journey, the 21-day one, the abundance one at that, and abundance isn't just about material wealth.
Right, exactly.
Like let's be clear there. Like that's awesome. Have nice things, go on vacation, you know, spoil the people you love, whatever. The material stuff is cool, but the manifestation and the abundance that you have in your relationships, the abundance of joy, the abundance of health, the abundance of ideas, the abundance of great conversations, the abundance of creating lasting memories. There's so many things that go along with it that it's not just about, well, I want to make 6 figures this year. That's fine. It's good to do that. Right. You know, it's amazing to do that, but it's so much more to it that you'll get out of it. The complete feeling of becoming a whole person or a whole being, a whole spirit around it, and understanding that abundance is available for you in every area of your life is something that you'll definitely get out of this. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all, hearing your stories, being a part of your journey, teaching you what little bit I know. My granny always used to say, boy, what you know wouldn't fill up a room. So, you know, I don't claim to be all knowing in anything, but I know a little about a lot, and I'm willing to share what it is that I do know with you all. And sometimes it's hearing it from it could be the same thing that was presented before, but hearing it from somebody else in a different manner, a different fashion. You know, you get this epiphany, this light bulb moment. And so, yeah, join the journey. It's going down like it's a hole in the boat, and we want you to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much for this conversation. This conversation by itself is absolutely a manifestation. I have written down Men Manifest 2 a ton of times in my journals, in my notebooks, doodles on my desk, and I was lacking the connection to the men that I could discuss it with. And the earliest days of Mel and I getting to know each other, I was like, this is the missing piece of so many things that I have been wanting to do and accomplish in this space with a partner, because there is a dynamic that is different for men and women. And when men and women come together to discuss a thing, it is heard in a different way. And women hear men different, men hear men different, men hear women different. And so it's not a or, it's and. So the ability to connect and have this space together where we can reach our individual networks, we reach our networks together, and then expand to a variety of people that we have not met yet, but will understand the passion that we present in this space. So your presence, your showing up for the 21-day to introduce me to it, Spence, and Precise to be a good friend of mine and be joining this journey after hundreds of times you told me you was going to meet me on the lakefront. This year, I think you're going to be the first one out there with your mat.
Hey, I'll be there. I'll be there.
So which corner you on today? What's saying you in, Coach Mo? But it is a pleasure, and I am so very grateful. I'm grateful to to you for spreading the word and telling others. And I'm grateful to those people's success stories that don't even know what they got coming to them yet. So thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Oh,
thank you.
And one last piece of how powerful manifestation truly is. I tried with everything in me to have this conversation yesterday. And the universe was like, block that text. No message here. No response. No, that time don't work. Yes, message. No response. Yes, message. All of these things so that it could hit different today. Where we saw one of our biggest celebrity icons.
I said literally.
You said literally.
Yeah. But to see one of our biggest celebrity icons lose his shit just definitely means that it's potential for all of us in any moment to lose it over one thing, tiny, big, or another, or things that don't seem reasonable to others, but was impactful in our lives. And so meditation is a key and a tool, and we are here to teach. So if you have not already, men and women, boys and girls, all people are welcome to join us for the absolutely free 21-day manifestation and abundance journey through the tool of meditation. Sign up at imwithcoachmo.com. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Coach Mo. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Precise, man. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you all.
Thank you.
Bye,
Good talking to you, fellas.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.